tonight. Passengers feel the pinch as Air Canada flight attendants are set to strike. The University of Regina serves its students' union with an eviction notice. And a Regina group donates fresh produce to organizations in need.
This is CBC Saskatchewan News.
It is Friday, August 15th, and the CBC Saskatchewan News starts right now. I'm Ethan Williams. Thank you for joining us. Thousands of air travelers are in limbo right now. Air Canada has canceled hundreds of flights as it heads toward a work stoppage in the early hours of Saturday. And as David Thurton reports, the airline and its flight attendants are running out of runway in their labor dispute.
Passengers are already feeling it as negotiations between Air Canada and flight attendants seem to be heading south.
We're hoping that it's just a delay and that we make it to Tampa today because we have plans.
This is just crazy, and I told my husband I'd never fly Air Canada again.
Air Canada's smaller regional partners, Express and PAL Airlines, continue flying as planned, though by lunchtime, Air Canada and Air Canada Rouge cancelled nearly 300 flights, impacting well over 50,000 passengers.
Time is short, so we're beginning to act, and we're already experienced a labor disruption even before the strike started, so that's why we're having the cancellations.
Major Air Canada hubs were also preparing for the fallout.
The most important thing to passengers is not to come to the airport unless they have a confirmed Air Canada flight.
We've also been working really closely with Air Canada over the last few weeks on potential plans for this strike. For example, making sure that we have adequate space for them to park their aircraft if there is a strike on our airport property.
The union rejected another offer today to go to binding arbitration, urging the government instead to not use the labor code to quash a pending strike by more than 10,000 flight attendants.
We don't want to have our rights as Canadians stripped away simply to be forced in a contract because the federal government is saving Air Canada once again.
Meanwhile, the federal jobs minister is urging both sides to reach a deal, saying Canadians are counting on them. David Thurton, CBC News, Ottawa.
And Air Canada has cancelled some flights arriving and departing from airports in Saskatchewan. A few cancellations were already starting to pile up at Regina International Airport Friday, and the airport's CEO says we can expect more of the same over the weekend.
We are fully anticipating full cancellations of all Air Canada and Air Canada Rouge aircraft as of Saturday. So this would include all of our departures from Regina to Toronto, as well as some of the departures between Regina and Vancouver.
Bogus recommends checking your flight status before arriving and make sure Air Canada has your contact information, including your email address and phone number, in order to get notified if your flight status changes. Canada Post and the union representing postal workers did not head back to the bargaining table Friday as planned. Talks have been delayed due to the availability of federal mediators. It's been 2 weeks since members of the Canadian Union of Postal Workers rejected the employer's latest offer in a majority vote. The two sides met with federal mediators earlier this week and have more rounds of bargaining scheduled for Monday. Canada Post's latest proposal includes wage hikes of about 13% over 4 years and restructuring to add part-time workers to the deal. The University of Regina has told its students' union to pack up. It's terminated its lease agreement with the University of Regina Students' Union, and now Ersu is required to vacate its spaces on campus. This all comes after the U of R says an auditor's report found Ersu's finances were unsustainable and the organization was running an over $1 million deficit. The university then stopped collecting student fees that fund Ersu. Earlier this month, a Regina Court of King's Bench judge officially dismissed a legal injunction filed by Ersu to get that money back. And on Friday, Ersu staff arrived to find an eviction notice and changed locks on their office doors. Ersu's general manager says the university's decision will have a significant ripple effect.
In the end, I mean, yes, our students will be unemployed. We will be closing down union as well. But eventually, students are getting affected, and I'm afraid that students will not have representation on campus at all. No one will be elected. If they start something, it will be appointed or hired, sort of, and hired by whom I don't know. Most probably by the people who are doing this right now.
The eviction affects Ersu's office space, its multi-purpose room, and the Lazy Owl restaurant, which is now closed until further notice. It says other existing tenants will continue to operate as normal. The lawyer representing Ersu declined comment on Friday. A man who was once on Canada's most wanted list made his first court appearance in Saskatoon Friday. Jonathan Wlette Jerron was arrested at Montreal's airport last weekend. He was flying back to Canada from Mexico. Police allege the 36-year-old shot Brandon Baxendall in a Saskatoon apartment in 2022. Baxendall died from his injuries. Wlette Jerron saw a judge Friday morning at Saskatoon Provincial Court. He'll stay in jail until his next court appearance on September 4th. While children across Saskatchewan head back to school in just over 2 weeks. And for some, that back-to-school shopping list can be very expensive. But as Jeremy Warren reports, the Saskatoon Tribal Council is helping to ease that financial strain.
The line of people here at White Buffalo Youth Lodge started forming hours before opening. Today is Saskatoon Tribal Council's annual backpack giveaway. Volunteers hand out thousands of backpacks filled with school supplies. All the essentials are in there: pens and pencils, notebooks and binders. Demand is always increasing. 3 years ago, STC gave away 2,000 backpacks. Last year, 3,500. Today, it's 4,000.
Some of them don't just have single kids, they have multiple kids. So we know the cost. On top of this, there's clothing for school, there's running shoes, there's all of these things that go into getting your kid ready for school, right? If you're in the grade 10, 11, 12s, you know, calculators are expensive, right? All of this stuff like that. So if this helps them in a small way to really be impactful for their families.
But it's not just a giveaway. This is also a community barbecue and carnival. Kids can get free haircuts to look sharp for back-to-school pictures.
So you can go to this table.
The cost of living is on the mind of many parents. A 2025 report from the Retail Council of Canada estimates the back-to-school market is worth $4 billion, and average spending per child is between $600 to $750.
Right now, I don't have a job. It's a big saving for me.
Tribal Chief Mark Arkand says no one has to prove their poverty to get a backpack. There's no criteria, no judgment, just people helping their neighbors. Over an hour after opening, there was still a line of people waiting for their turn to fill a backpack. Jeremy Warren, CBC News, Saskatoon.
The Saskatchewan Roughriders will play one of next year's preseason games in Saskatoon. The club announced Friday that the team will play the game at Griffith Stadium, the current home of the University of Saskatchewan Huskies and the Saskatoon Valkyries. Saskatoon has not played host to a Riders preseason game since 1991. The Green and White won that game against Winnipeg in front of a crowd of over 3,000 at what is now known as SMF Field.
We know we have incredibly passionate fans from Saskatoon and area, and we also know they travel a long way during the summer and fall to attend Rider games. We're happy to be able to play one of our now 11 home games in 2026 right here in their backyard.
It is such a joy that we get to do it here, because guess what? Just because the Riders are in Regina doesn't mean we don't all bleed green in this province.
The Riders will also be adding another game to their regular season next year. Because of World Cup soccer events happening at BMO Field in Toronto, the Argos will play both their games against Saskatchewan at Mosaic Stadium. That means there will be 10 regular season games at Mosaic next year. Meanwhile, it is the first in the East against the first in the West at Mosaic Stadium on Saturday. Bo Levi Mitchell leads his Hamilton Tiger Cats into Regina to face Trevor Harris and the Riders. It's also a battle of two of the best and oldest quarterbacks in the CFL.
Tomorrow, it's he's playing against our defense, and our offense is playing against their defense. And so, but I know it's a good storyline, you know, especially, you know, the two grandpas out there, you know, playing ball.
He's playing with, you know, the Bo moxie, you know, that I've traditionally seen for a long time. And again, I can't stress this enough, how athletic this guy is looking right now, you know. Probably the most athletic he's looked in his career. So he's, yeah, man, Bo's back, no doubt.
And it is almost a sellout for Saturday's battle between those two top teams. Kickoff at Mosaic is at 1 o'clock. Well, it is hard to believe, but many signs of summer in Saskatoon are coming to an end for another season. George Ward Pool is closing on Sunday. This is also the last weekend for summer paddling pool programs, with weekday programming ending on Tuesday. Mayfair and Lethe pools will close next Sunday, with the rest of the pools and all spray pads shutting down on September 1st. But in terms of the weather, it's going to be nice for those last few days. Helena will have the details after the break. Welcome back. It is harvest time for gardeners at the University of Regina. The Regina Public Interest Research Group has grown all sorts of fresh veggies at their garden plot on campus, and all that good food is going towards some good causes.
Being able to give back to the community with the produce that we've been able to grow and watch everyone enjoy everything that we've worked so hard with has been a really great part of this job.
There are three main goals and we can say purpose for this garden. One was to produce organic and fresh vegetable for our community, particularly for students, to combat food insecurity. Another goal is to have a green space on campus for recreation purposes, as well as to provide horticulture education to broader Regina community.
After this, we're going to collect all of our stuff, weigh all of our produce, and see how much we were able to collect today for the community. And we're going to divide it up and give it to the YWCA in Regina, Carmichael Outreach, and also the Ersu Community Fridge, which just goes to people on the university campus that need some extra support as well.
Carmichael Outreach was one of the sole organizations who was doing a lot of community kitchen and then food insecurity work, and they wanted to have a garden of their own so that they can produce good fresh food, because oftentimes the food they get donated come from probably the discounted shelf or about to expire shelf from the grocery store. But recently, we also a few years ago, we have given to Souls Harbor Community Mission, as well as this year we got a request from YWCA.
I think that's a really amazing opportunity to get the stuff from the garden, because with the grocery stores nowadays, the price changes, and I just think everyone should be growing their own gardens. There's lots of really great people in the community that donate lots of food all the time, and we prepare it all, and we'll make meals, about 150 to 250 meals a day.
The magnitude of all of this is quite important. We don't typically get this much fresh produce, so this will really help with everybody coming off. Of course, when you're on the streets, you don't get access to fresh stuff often, so to have a lot of it will mean a lot.
The people of the community really appreciate when they can find that support from systems around them, whether it's in the actual vegetables or, like people were saying earlier, just in the space to be in, to enjoy the hammocks, to enjoy the plants, to just get some outside. It's wonderful to be a part of that.
It's kind of like a kid in a candy store, but it humanizes it more, because typically they're eating stuff out of cans and preservatives. This is fresh. This isn't something they get all the time. So it humanizes their experience, makes them feel normal, regular.
And weather specialist Helena Mahalik is with us now to tell us if we'll have nice enough weather this weekend to maybe do some harvesting of our own in our own gardens.
Ethan, I think temperatures will be okay enough to do some gardening, and some more rainfall might help with that as well. Friday evening, we are seeing a chance of showers in the province. Let's take a look at where that is. There is a chance of some showers in the southwest corner for areas just south of Swift Current, and this does have a chance of having a severe thunderstorm associated. With that, we could see wind gusts up to 70 kilometers an hour and the chance of dime-sized hail, but there's also a 30% chance of showers throughout much of central Saskatchewan, and the radar showing that might hit areas in and around Saskatoon in the coming hours. It's really Saturday that we're going to see a chance of showers throughout all of the province, with a chance of severe thunderstorms associated with south and central Saskatchewan. There is a risk, especially in the southwest corner, of up to golf ball-sized hail and wind gusts close to 100 kilometers an hour if that storm hits. Throughout the rest of south and central Saskatchewan, a chance of wind gusts reaching over 50 kilometers an hour, as well as the chance of nickel-sized hail. But it's really northern Saskatchewan that's going to get the brunt of the rainfall over the weekend. Saturday, we see a chance of showers in the Churchill region, hitting areas around La Ronge. And as we get into Sunday, we see another chance of rainfall for the north. This is especially going to hit areas close to the Manitoba border, like Wollaston Lake. And into Monday, we're just seeing calm skies to start our next week. In terms of the rainfall, though, we are going to continue to see a good amount of rainfall, but south and central Saskatchewan won't get too much. Saskatoon and Regina will get less than 5 millimeters, but areas close to the Manitoba border may get hit with more of that in the southeast corner, for areas like Estevan and Yorkton getting close to 15 millimeters of rainfall. As of Friday morning, northern Saskatchewan could have got anywhere from 25 to 50 millimeters of rainfall in some areas from a system we had late this week. Most of the rainfall hit near the Manitoba border, and we're going to continue to see rainfall over the weekend hit close to Manitoba, with the south end getting over 10 millimeters of rainfall. Other areas also getting a good amount and continuing to provide relief from our wildfires. Saturday, we are going to see a bit of a breeze in the province, with wind gusts up to 45 kilometers an hour. But as for the rest of the weekend into Sunday, we're not going to really see a breeze, mainly calm skies. Temperature-wise, Friday, things are quite cool. And going into Saturday, we're going to see some pretty cool temperatures in the west. But Ethan, southern parts of the province in the west might actually see temperatures closer to 30 degrees. So we have a bit of everything going on in the province.
Okay, so harvest for some and for others, maybe waiting a little bit. Thanks, Helena.
Thanks, Ethan.
Well, a Winnipeg art exhibit is showcasing the natural world as seen through the eyes of disability. There's colorful drawings and ceramic statues on display. It's all created by an organization that helps people with intellectual disabilities. And Shanna Lee Vidal got a preview.
I love this art piece.
I like that it looks like this boat is kind of sailing into the pencil crayon.
Me too, like what I said, sailboat sailing in the sunset.
An art exhibit in Winnipeg is showcasing works by artists with intellectual disabilities. More than 20 members of L'Arche Winnipeg contributed works to Experiencing Eden, Disability and the Natural World. It's on at La Maison des Artistes Visuels Francophones. L'Arche employee Jubilee Duick-Thiessen says a lot of consideration was put into the message behind the art.
I think the norm is to think of disability as something that is imperfect and something that wouldn't be part of a perfect Eden environment. But it's really important to us to declare and to celebrate that disability is a perfect part of human life.
I made this blue moon by hand.
Kaylin Regier is one of the artists. Being part of this exhibit is a big deal for her.
I never shown my work before, so this is kind of different for me. I just feel very proud of myself.
The creation of this exhibit was a wonderful learning opportunity where our artists got to engage with new mediums and try new ways of making art that maybe they didn't think were possible for them.
Experiencing Eden also has an interactive portion. Visitors are invited to explore this sensory garden. And the idea is that the space is designed to make you feel that you're out in nature, something all of the artists enjoy.
The space resembles the outdoors with clouds, trees, sun, and even rain.
We wanted to tell the story of the perspectives and experiences of our members with disability in nature and how being in nature makes them feel connected.
Shanna Lee Vidal, CBC News, Winnipeg.
A set of giant panda twins in Hong Kong celebrated their birthday in style. The twins were treated to toys and an iced vegetable juice cake to celebrate, only weighing just over 3.5 ounces at birth. The zoo says the pair, at 1 year old, now weighs about 30 kilograms, and they're gradually being introduced to solid foods like bamboo shoots and carrots. Stay with us. We're back after the break. Well, there were some bright spots for Team Saskatchewan at the Canada Summer Games Friday after some disappointments earlier in the week. Here's a recap of Day 7 in St. John's.
Marketing with the big finish. And with that, Team Saskatchewan moves on.
Saskatoon's Erica Markenton put BC to bed in the women's beach volleyball quarterfinal. Team Sask winning 2-1. The team plays in the semifinals against Quebec on Saturday morning. Meanwhile, the men's team shut out the Northwest Territories and will play for 9th place against Newfoundland on Saturday. The men's baseball team suffered a heartbreaking semifinal loss to Quebec with a final score of 9-4, but they'll still get to play for bronze on Saturday afternoon against PEI. The women's basketball team beat PEI in their consolation game Friday, 70-44. They'll meet Quebec on Saturday to play for 5th place. But the men's basketball team lost their Friday consolation game against Nova Scotia, 95-66. They'll play for 7th place on Saturday morning. And Helene is back for one last look at the weekend forecast.
We might not get some hot weather this weekend, but it is in store. Let's take a look at the forecast for the city of Regina. Saturday and through to Monday, we do have a slight chance of some showers and temperatures slowly returning to seasonal. As we get into next week, though, we are seeing temperatures finally jumping up, and by Tuesday, temperatures will even be over 30 degrees, only staying that way for about 2 days, though. Another chance of some thunderstorms later into next week, and we see temperatures really drop down even below seasonal, so we have 30 degrees down to even just above 20 degrees. In Saskatoon, another chance of some showers with the risk of thunderstorms on Saturday. But again, temperatures will slowly be climbing back to seasonal before we get some of that 30-degree weather on Tuesday and a chance of some showers later on into the week. That's going to cool things down again, and we will continue to see daytime highs just above that 20-degree mark and our overnight lows above 10 degrees. So Ethan, 30 degrees is coming our way. Too bad they're going to close down those pools in Saskatoon.
Exactly, yeah, a rare taste of 30 so far this summer. Thank you, Helena.
Thanks, Ethan.
And that is our news for this Friday. For more news anytime, you can head to our website or our YouTube channel, and you can also download the CBC News app on your smartphone or tablet. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great weekend.